JDM, the magical catch-all term any car guys give cars that have even the slightest connection to the Japanese market. It's been used so generously for almost all Japanese cars that it's pretty much lost all meaning. Installed a piece of trim, JDM. Side mirror, JDM. Installed a wheel bearing only found in the Japan-only counterpart for the car, JDM. And why not? Those three magical words instantly add to the car's mythos, and it adds a story to an otherwise mundane daily driver. It also adds to the JDM tax, a totally made-up tool used by car sellers to inorganically raise the price of a car. And why is this? Well, stories sell. Legends sell. If I had a piece of rock and told you that it's a special rock, I'm sure I can find a way to sell it to you. But sometimes a ray of light shines through and you find a gem among the BS. It's not every day someone tells you this car is JDM and you just nod your head in agreement. This is one of those gems. Welcome to the Honda Beat.
I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 niggas wanna war, 10 niggas on the floor, 11 niggas on the porch, 12 killers wanna war, 13 carnivores, 14 Labradors, 15 dinosaurs, 16 avatars, 17 bombs with grenades at your rental car, 18 ways you can...
Now before we begin, I'd like to thank Pablo Cipriano of Bruce Car Repair Shop for lending us this amazing Honda Beat. Bruce Car Repair Shop is your one-stop shop for all your car restoration needs. They have an ongoing promo right now where you can avail of their special services like glass and car detailing, oil change, undercoating, and many more. They have a buy one take one promo on these services for a limited time, so head on over to their Facebook page and tell them that Mototelic sent you. The Honda Beat is just one of those cars that rekindles your love for automobiles. In a time when every other car coddles you with sound insulation, safety nannies, studio-grade sound systems, and more tech than you can shake a 2-liter bottle of aspartame-infused Coke Zero at, this car reminds you what it feels like to be one with man and machine. I remember the very first car that I ever drove, the car that sparked my lifelong obsession with these mechanical beasts and made me swear that this will be my life from now on. Bumper cars from Star City. That's right, mindless, unsafe, and stupid fun. The sole purpose of driving bumper cars is for just that, bumping into each other. But what I did as a kid, I'd steer myself away from the crowd and enjoy my few minutes away from my parents, away from my friends, gliding across the floor in my very own car. I felt like my own person, I felt freedom. And that is exactly what it feels like to drive the Honda Beat. Now unlike bumper cars though, this car handled like a dream, like a ninja cutting through heavy traffic and using every bit of the 63 available tiny macho caballos from the 656cc naturally aspirated engine. You heard that right. Not only does it share the name with one of the Philippines' most popular Honda scooters, also shares the displacement of the brand's bigger bikes. If you're wondering what 656cc is, that's 0.65 liters of displacement in regular car speak. The car is also electronically limited to about 100 kilometers per hour. If you're wondering how in the world you're going to have any sense of fun with those seemingly paltry numbers, you have to keep in mind that this just weighs 1,676 pounds, or 760 kilograms. That practically makes this roadster lighter than air. If you're expecting to find the engine up front, you'd be surprised to see a hood full of nothing except for spare tires and the inlets to replace the car's fluids. To get access to the engine, you'll have to pop open the trunk, and even then, if you're not looking hard enough, you won't find the E07A engine. It's lodged right in the middle of the vehicle, just behind the seats, making this a legit mid-engine roadster. Honda calls the Beat its midship amusement vehicle. It definitely is amusing and fun, I'll give you that. First of all, the exterior. I mean, look at it. You can't avoid the stares that you get every single time you drive this car down the road. You get a mix of astonishment, envy, curiosity, and confusion. People will give way every time at any intersection just to give them the opportunity to snap pictures and post them onto the Interesting Car Spotting Facebook page. Shout out to those guys, by the way. Every part of the car has been shrunk down to scale, so if you look at the car from pictures, you wouldn't be able to determine its actual dimensions from a 2D perspective. Now, I wouldn't blame you if you would think it's just another Miata, but once you approach the car and you realize just how tiny and minute it really is. You see, this class of car is called a K-car. K-cars are mostly sold in Japanese markets and are popular due to the tax breaks and incentives as well as the affordability of the cars. In order to qualify for the K-class, you would have to comply with strict size and displacement limits imposed by the government, as well as an agreed-upon gentleman's agreement between car companies. Other countries offer similar incentives for smaller cars, but not as impactful as they are in Japan, and that is why these cars are only available in the Japanese market. You can't get any more JDM than this because not only are the parts and accessories JDM, but the entire car is. Honda maximized the design and engineering limits of the K-Class, hence the overall look of the car. The headlamps are large and are actually integrated and reach back into the front fenders. You'll find a small grille just beneath it, but doesn't actually feed air into the engine. Those duties are given to these cool side air vents. Again, this is a mid-engine car and those vents make sure that enough air cools the engine as you move forward. This Roadster features a soft top design to further save on space and weight. Putting the roof down requires some manual work and allows you to drive the car in its natural state. Top down. Always top down. The side profile features the tiniest door handles you'll ever see. Remember that Honda scaled down a Roadster and the doors have just enough room for 2 fingers to latch it open. When I first saw the car, I honestly thought, why would you give such a small car huge aftermarket mags? Then I realized that these wheels are just 15 inches with 185/50 R15 tires and are staggered with the rear tires being wider. The fun doesn't stop at the rear with these funky 90s tail lamps spreading good vibes to everyone who see it. Inside features all the magical Honda bits that will make every JDM fan drool. It's got the original Gathers audio unit and features a design print of the car's profile so you know that this unit is made specifically just for this car. There are speakers in the dash integrated into the doors, and I'm glad that when the car was converted to left-hand drive, they were able to retain this beautiful interior character line that is, quite frankly, reminiscent of the NSX. Some JDM purists may decry the decision of the owner to move the steering column, but you can't blame them for wanting to drive this car in the Philippine roads. My chunky 5'11" frame could barely fit inside the thing, though once I did, I finally understood the appeal of a Roadster. Even more so than the Miata, this car is just pure, visceral, stupid fun. Sure, it only has 63 horsepower and 60 Nm of torque, and is limited to about 100 km per hour, but getting to those limits doesn't require the Honda Beat to break a sweat. It's as if those power figures are right up there, on tap, and ready for whenever you need it. That's the beauty of low displacement 3-cylinder cars. Punch the throttle and you're right there smack in the power band. Chuck this thing around and you'll find a car to be well balanced and weighted. It's as if you are on one with the road. The beauty of mid-engine rear-wheel drive cars is really apparent, and thanks to a limited slip differential, coupled with a smooth and precise 5-speed manual transmission that feels exactly like it's supposed to, without any rubber feeling at all, you're subjected to a euphoric driving feel unlike any other. It doesn't even have electronic power steering. You don't need that in this car. Although the speedometer reading only tells you that you're driving at 40 to 60 km per hour, it feels so much faster than that. It's horrifying to think what this car could feel like at 80 or 100 km per hour. Honda in the 90s had it all pat down, and this car is the ultimate 90s Honda car. Pure 100% unfiltered fun. If you ask me what other options you might have apart from the Honda Beat, the easiest answers would be the Miata, of course, but this is no Miata. For starters, this car is so much smaller and lighter and wouldn't even stand a chance against that car on the track. No, the Honda Beat stands alone in the Philippines. If you're lucky enough to have the opportunity to get your hands on this little pocket rocket, you do it, because no other car will ever be as fun and as terrifying at the same time as the Honda Beat. Regular Car Reviews got it right when he said that this car will ruin you for every other car, because right after reviewing the Honda Beat, everything else felt sluggish, too heavy, too large. How can something so stupidly simple be so good? A lot of people are still so caught up with 90s cars, and with the Honda Beat, I now know exactly why. Do you have a classic 90s car? Share your experiences with us by commenting down below, and make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification icon so you're alerted whenever we upload a new video. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.